Call me Diana. When I was 9, life hit the fan. Now, I'm not using fancy words here, just telling it straight. It was me, my little sister Lizzie who was 2, Mom, and the man I'd called Dad up until that world-flipping day. See, Dad had this DNA test done, out of nowhere, really, and boom, our family wasn't a family in the way we thought. Dad walked in, papers in hand, face all kinds of twisted up with, I dunno, anger, shock, sadness. Mom first went all pale, eyes wide, then she tried to shrug it off, but who was she kidding? When she saw Dad wasn't buying her act, she crumbled like a house of cards, tears and all, spilling the beans about not knowing who my real dad was. And about still being in the picture with Lizzie's dad. That's how the dominoes fell. Dad split from Mom, but he didn't slam the door on us. He wasn't heartless. Kept sending money our way because, in his heart, he still saw us as his kids, I guess. Love's weird like that. Mom didn't waste any time though, married Lizzie's dad, George, quick as you like. Lizzie became the apple of his eye the second the ink dried on their marriage certificate, and he made it official by adopting her and cutting me out like last night's pizza. For me, it was like I became a ghost in my own home, invisible. Our house, huh? It was less of a home and more of a crash pad for me. Mom was all about her new life, with stepdad and Lizzie. They were like the picture-perfect 3, and there was me, just sort of, there. Don't get your stuff on the couch, stepdad would bark, not even looking up from his game on TV. But where am I supposed to, I'd start. Figure it out, not my problem, he'd cut me off without missing a beat. Mom would be in the kitchen, cooing over Lizzie or giggling with stepdad, acting like my voice was lost in some other dimension. Me and Lizzie? Well, we were on different planets. I tried to be the good big sister, but she was being raised like she was an only child, princess costumes, bedtime stories, all smiles. Me, I was lucky if I got a goodnight hollered in my general direction. The dinner table was like a minefield. I'd sit quiet, try to make myself smaller, while they chatted about their days, about everything and nothing. I'd just pick at my food, not if someone accidentally made eye contact. You gonna eat that? Stepdad would grunt, eyeing my chicken like he hadn't been fed in weeks. Nah, you can have it, I'd mumble, sliding my plate over. Hey, watch it. You're making a mess. He'd growl as a pea rolled off the table. Mom was no better. If I tried to talk to her about school or friends, she'd give me that nod-smile combo that adults do when they're not listening. Uh-huh, sure, honey, she'd say without missing a beat in her phone scroll. The bell rang, cutting through the chatter of the hallway, signaling the end of the day. I gripped my backpack tighter, shuffling out with the rest, everyone pushing to be first to freedom. That's when I saw him, leaned up against the old metal fencing by the school gates, my dad. Dad? I said, peering close as if my eyes were playing tricks. Diana, he grunted, a curt nod in place of a smile. I stopped a few feet away, wary. What are you doing here? Got something to tell you. He ran a rough hand through his hair, which seemed unrulier than I remembered. Can we go somewhere? Talk? Glancing around, wondering if any of my friends were witnessing this reunion, I nodded towards my usual hangout. There's a diner around the corner. The walk was silent, the clunk of his boots on pavement outpacing any attempt at small talk. The diner wasn't much, but it was a slice of familiarity compared to the man walking beside me. Once seated in a booth with peeling vinyl and a wobbly table, the waitress came over, eyeing Dad somehow suspiciously and me with concern. The usual, Diana? She asked, her voice a welcome sound. I nodded. Yeah, and whatever he'll have. Dad grunted again, not even picking up the menu. Coffee, black. She nodded and hurried off. I drummed my fingers on the table, buying time. Eventually, I burst out. You can't just show up like this. He didn't flinch. Didn't plan on it. Thought you oughta know, though. I can't have kids, Diana. The words hung there like a heavy smoke. I stopped drumming my fingers. So, he shifted uncomfortably. Thought you might want to know. Be with your old man now that I know for sure you're the only one I'll have. My heart was doing strange flips. Just like that? I drop everything and come with you? It's not nothing, Diana, he said, voice rising a touch. Figured it meant something. To you, especially. Mom and George flashed in my mind, along with the mound of unwashed laundry and the echoing silence every time I walked in the door. I sighed. You got room for one more at your place? You bet, he said, shoulders relaxing. I got space. And what would I do? Just hang out while you work? The practical side of me needed details. He stirred his coffee, the spoon clinking against the ceramic. You go to school. I work. We'll figure the rest out. School. That was something I planned to finish, no matter what. Fine. But I'm finishing high school. No derailing that. He gave a small nod as if it was decided, there and then. Fine. I chewed my lip. Term was ending in a couple of months. It wouldn't be too bad, I convinced myself. I'd make new friends, or keep in touch with the old, somehow. Mom and George, well, they had been more like roommates than family lately. Might not even notice I'm gone till rent's due. Okay, I said, a strange lightness taking over. Okay, let's do this. But Dad, this can't be one of those fly-by-night schemes. I'm serious. He met my eyes, and for a second I saw something that might have passed for conviction. I'm serious too, kiddo. Time to make things right. We left the diner with a plan forming. I was scared, but the idea of starting over, with him, it felt like a real chance. As we walked back to the school to collect the rest of my things, I figured this might just be the new beginning I'd been craving. Dad and I live in a new city now. It's different, cold sometimes, and loud, but it's home. Dad started his own business, something to do with tech and gadgets. It was just a bunch of computers at first, but it really picked up. People talk about him now, like he's someone. I guess he is. I go to this local school. It's alright, I guess. Not much to say about it except I'm there to get grades, and I'm doing good, real good. Got to, right? Dad's setting the bar up high with his success and all. I gotta keep up, make him proud. That's the goal. And me? Dentistry's where it's at for me. Can't explain it, really. Just something about fixing people up, giving them a smile to be proud of. Sounds good, doesn't it? Dad's all for it. When I first told him, I thought he'd be like, dentistry, really? But no, he was all. If that's what you want, kiddo, then go for it. That's Dad for you, supportive as ever. My mom and George? They're like a TV show I used to watch, but forgot how it goes. It's just static now, and I don't remember much about them. Doesn't matter, though. We've got our own thing going on here. Another test aced? How do you do it? Dad's voice makes me jump as he comes into my room. His eyes are all tired from work, but he's smiling. Study, isn't it? Just hit the books and the answers stick, I say, shrugging like it's no big deal. Dad chuckles, the lines by his eyes crinkling up. You got your old man's brains, that's for sure. I roll my eyes. Yeah, just means I'll have to pick a fancy college for dentistry. They don't let any dummy in. Hey, you pick the college, I'll figure out the rest. He pats my head and then turns serious. Don't you worry about that. The thing is, I don't worry. Not about this. Dad's good for his word, always has been. There's this cool thing I've been doing, volunteering at a local dentist's office. Sounds boring, but trust me, it's not. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm there, watching, learning, sometimes handing them tools like I know what I'm doing. It feels right, like I belong. I don't go out much, not a party person. I've got Emma and Zach at school, and that's plenty. Emma's all about basketball, while Zach's into his music. They're cool, even if we don't hang out much outside of school. So, when you gonna invite us over? Emma bumps my shoulder as we're walking out of class. I wanna see if your dad's place looks as techy as you say. I shrug. Dunno, we're pretty busy most of the time. But yeah, maybe. Zach's grinning, his headphones around his neck. Busy studying teeth, huh? If you ever need a guinea pig. He taps his front tooth. No way, I snort. I am not starting with your mouth, Zach. Days blend together, school and dentistry. It's like a rhythm, home, school, teeth stuff. But it's nice, predictable. I like it. I like knowing where I stand, and where I'm headed. It's a good life. Dad and we're doing okay here. Business, school, future dentist stuff, it's all pieces of this new life. And I'm thinking, as I fall asleep with my dentistry book spread out around me, I'm really looking forward to what comes next. I'm 32 now. Year by year, the image of my dad in his prime fades a bit more, the edges blur like a photograph left too long in the sun. He's been gone for a few years, taken by a sickness that chewed him up from the inside. Damn, it made me mad. Fists clenched, teeth gritted, kind of mad. You see, I've been around medicine my whole life, with all this knowledge and not a penny spared on treatment, but still, the guy couldn't beat the odds. Life's a real piece of work, huh? It kicks you down and expects you to get up and say, thank you. But I've always been a fighter. Dad used to say that, told me I got it from him. So after he passed, I let the pain fuel me. Ran my own race, and now, here I am, doctor at a dental clinic with my name on the door. Inheriting everything Dad owned did make things smoother. I won't lie, money talks in this world, and it's a lot louder when you're trying to keep a business afloat. I kicked ass to get to where I'm at, and Dad's inheritance just padded the fall a bit when things got rough. My clinic's the talk of town. People come in with all sorts of issues, a chipped tooth here, a cavity there. I see it all, fix what I can. But it's not just smiles I mend, oh no. People tell you things when they're sitting in that chair, looking up at the ceiling, trying not to think about the drill in their mouth. They talk about life, the raw, unpolished realness of it. I like that, makes every day different. Like this one guy, let's call him Joe. Burly fellow with tattoos all the way up his arms and a frown that looked permanent. Came in for a root canal, tough as nails, or so he thought. Alright, Joe. Open wide and let's take a look at the troublemaker, I'd say. My damn tooth's been killing me, he grunted, mouth already full of dental equipment. Can't chew my steak proper. Can't have that, I said, matching his straightforwardness. Let me fix you up right quick. By the end of the appointment, after some drilling and a whole lot of tough guy grunts, he was singing a different tune. Doc, you're a miracle worker, Joe mumbled through the gauze in his mouth. Go easy on the steaks for a while, yeah? I told him, handing him a mirror to check out my handiwork. A job well done if I may say so myself. That's the drill, my days in a nutshell. But it's not just teeth, it's the people behind them that keep the job interesting. So yeah, life goes on. I miss Dad every damn day, but I reckon he'd be proud. Proud that his little girl didn't just crumble. I look forward and push on. That's what you have to do. No use dwelling on the what-ifs and the whys. You deal with what's in front of you, one day, one tooth, one heartache at a time. The sun was setting when I heard the knock. I wasn't expecting anyone, let alone Mom and Lizzie. Their sudden appearance felt like a gust of wind before a storm. You got a nice place here, said Lizzie, as she pushed past me like she owned the place. Her eyes were hungry, taking in every detail of my living room. Hi, honey, Mom said, less bold, but with a look that told me she had something on her mind. We were just in the neighborhood. I doubted that. They lived in another city. What brings you here? I asked, even though I had a nagging suspicion. We need to talk, Diana. Lizzie cut in, plopping down on my sofa with no invitation. I'm planning to go to college. I raised an eyebrow. That's good to hear, Lizzie. But why do I feel like there's a but coming up? She didn't hesitate. But I need money, sis. I want to get into college, do something with my life. That struck a chord. I used to be in those shoes, staring up a mountain that felt impossible to climb. Look, I want to help, I said. But money isn't something you should take lightly. Mom chimed in. Your sister's trying to do something with her life. You could make it easier for her. I felt the walls closing in. This felt wrong, just handing over cash without knowing if it would actually go to pay for college. But then again, this was family. How much do you need? I asked, already regretting the question. Lizzie's grimace turned into a grin. Not much. 25 grand should cover the first couple years. I nearly choked. 25,000? That's a lot of money, Lizzie. Don't act like it's a big deal for you. She snapped back. You got it. That stung. Just because I had made something of myself didn't mean I had money to throw around. But looking at Lizzie, I saw the shadows of my own past. Uncertain. Scared. I sighed. I'll give you the money, but on one condition. I send it directly to the college when you enroll. Lizzie squirmed. I haven't picked a place yet. Just need the money, I'll handle the rest. Her eyes dodging mine. The air felt heavy, like right before a storm breaks. You don't trust me? Her voice rose. It's not about trust, I countered, but even as I said it, I knew it was. I just want to make sure it's used right, Lizzie. There was a cold silence until Mom chimed in. Tired of the back and forth, we're not here to scam you. I took a breath, feeling cornered. Okay. I went to my desk, logged into my account, and did the transfer. There, $25,000. For school. Lizzie's eyes lit up with a mix of victory and guilt. Thanks, I won't forget this. But it was Mom's quick, greedy smile that stayed with me long after they left. I sat there, feeling a blend of worry and disappointment, hoping I hadn't just made a huge mistake. For months, I'd been on the phone with Mom and my sister back in our hometown. It felt good to help them out, sending a few $100 when I could. But when October rolled in, something in my gut told me to check up on Sis and her college situation. One afternoon, I called her, my voice casual as I asked about her classes. But like a slippery fish, she wriggled out of the topic, and before I could press on, she hung up. I frowned at my phone, a suspicion gnawing at my mind. Next thing, I'm stalking her social media like some sort of detective. There she was, all smiles, decked out in threads that screamed money. But not a single selfie in her college gear, nothing. Enough was enough. I hit dial on Kara's number, my old buddy from the block. Kara, it's me, Diana. What's the deal with my sister? How is she doing in college? Her voice came out flat. Your sis? College? Girl, she's strutting around here like she's in some sort of fashion show. You should see the bags they carry. No books, all bling. It hit me like a ton of bricks, played for a fool. I was burning with the need to confront them, to yell until I was hoarse. I'd been dialing Lizzie all day, hitting redial more times than I cared to count. The same with Mom. Neither bothered to pick up. Each ignored call stacked bricks in the wall they were building between us. When I went online, hunting for a trace of them, my messages bounced back like I was some stranger now. I was locked out and it stung like hell. Hurt simmered and bubbled over into a rage that iced my veins. They'd conned me. The doorbell rang like a warning siren that I didn't want to heed. There on my doorstep, my mother and sister stood, their appearances a bit too polished for a casual visit. I could feel the weight of their expectations before a word even slipped past their lips. Without an invite, they barged in as if it was their right. They settled on my couch and began to look at my living room. Need money for college, Lizzie blurted out, not 2 minutes into the so-called visit. Her eyes didn't meet mine, and why would they? Lies have a hard time looking you in the eye. Yeah, that's rich, considering, I said, crossing my arms over my chest. My mother shifted uncomfortably. Diana, you don't understand. What? That you're both liars? I cut her off. My voice was colder than I anticipated. It was odd, but liberating. You got no right to talk to us like that, Diana. Lizzie piped up, her voice getting sharp. We're family. That card's expired, I shot back. Listen here. I didn't let her finish. I did. For a long time, I listened and gave and got nothing but a lie. We're your blood, and you owe us that much, my sister said, her voice hitching up a notch. I couldn't help but laugh then. Not because it was funny, but because the level of their delusion was staggering. You think I owe you for spending my money on everything but what you claimed? For lying? For treating me like an ATM? I fixed them with a look that felt as if it could peel the paint from the walls. There was silence for a moment, and then my mother's face twisted into a scowl. Ungrateful brat. After everything we've done for you. Done to me, you mean? I corrected. My sister stood up. We don't need this. If you're going to be a bastard about helping family. Well, if the shoe fits. I interrupted her and then pointed at the door. Leave. I'm done being your free ride. They were on their feet now, faces red, not with shame, but with anger. You'll regret this, my mother hissed. I already regret plenty, but cutting you off ain't on that list. I walked to the door, holding it open. Get out. As they stomped past me, their parting words were threats about making me pay in ways money couldn't cover. Once they left, the silence in the apartment was heavy, but it was mine and mine alone. I leaned against the closed door after they were gone and exhaled a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. It was done. It should have felt like a victory, but wars with family tend to leave you counting losses more than wins. Life has a funny way of showing you who really cares. Here I am, sitting on the rough patch of grass by his grave, my dad's grave. Well, he wasn't my biological dad, but that never mattered. He treated me like I was his own. Gave me support, taught me right from wrong, showed me kindness. Not like my mother or my sister. I stopped picking up their calls, blocked their numbers. Cut them off, just like that. Now, here I sit with only the sound of the wind for company. I talk to him, to my dad, telling him about my day, about the tough root canal or the kid who wouldn't stop squirming in the chair. It feels right, you know, being here with him. Peaceful. Hey, Diana. It's Jim from the grave next over. Poor guy, lost his wife last year. He's a regular here, like me. You're talking to your dad again, huh? Yeah, I say. You know how it is. Jim nods. Sure do. Gotta keep the connection somehow. How's work going? Same old, same old. Teeth are teeth, Jim. They don't change much. Jim chuckles. Yeah, I guess teeth are more reliable than people, huh? You got that right, I smirk. I've always liked Jim. Has a way of saying what he means without wrapping it in cotton. I stand up, brush the grass off my jeans, and take one last look at the headstone. See you tomorrow, Dad, I say softly, though he can't hear me. The door of the car closes with a satisfying thud. I start the engine and roll out of the cemetery. The road stretches out ahead of me, clear and open. Just like my future, just like my life now. No more chains pulling me back, no more feeling like a human ATM. My life is mine again, I whisper to the rearview mirror. Tucking a stray hair behind my ear, I pull into the traffic. My phone's silent these days, but I like it that way. No surprise calls begging for cash, no manipulative messages. Just the occasional text from a friend or a reminder for an appointment. When I get home, I crash on the couch. No yelling, no lies, no fake teary apologies or promises. Maybe I'll get a dog, a big one with soft ears. Someone who's glad to see me for me, not for what's in my wallet. Yeah, that sounds nice.